Well, hot diggity dog, baby. We got a lot going on here. We got some EX skills, bro. We got some skill rings, EX styles, excuse me, some skill rings, bro. We are finally feeling like they're actually doing something going on here. Is it enough? Who knows? Only time will tell. But this does add a lot of different ways to play, and it adds a lot of enjoyability for the game, which of course we need. So this information that we got today was pretty good, and we're going to dive into it. Make sure you get all the stuff that you need to know, not the stuff that you don't need, but the stuff that you need to know. And by the way, they finally freaking made it so that you don't lose your freaking Augment transfer pass without a freaking message pop up, bruv. You remember how that happened to me like a year and a half or however long ago that was, year and a half, 2 years ago, where I used an Augment transfer pass, and I didn't know I used it because there was no safeguards to stop me from using it. So I wasted an entire Augment transfer pass. Oh, well, they finally addressed that a year and a half, 2 years later. They finally made a system where it will stop you from doing it. Hey, but first, before we dive in, please be sure to like and subscribe. It helps out tremendously. Thank you very much. So this baby more or less jumps straight out the gate. Obviously, this is going to pan over from the end of September and into October because obviously, as you know, the headline happened on like the 19th or 20th. So obviously that kind of tells that there's some information that we get beforehand. But there's not really anything going on that's happening at the end of the month. So I'm not really going to just go over it. It's a scratch. It's a Wushu scratch, which actually the outfits are not that bad. If you want to check it out, it will be here coming next week. But it's a Wushu scratch, so kind of like Chinese theme outfits. And it's not too bad. There's some good ones for the males. And of course, there's always plenty for the females because that's always their focus, of course. Now, there is this new mini episode that's coming on October 1st. So October is when we actually start to get things going. October 1st is when things actually start moving. So this is where we're going to start grooving. Where we start grooving. Yeah. Anyways, so October 1st is when we get this new mini episode. And you're also going to get a mini episode with Hibana as well. So cool. We're not really overly excited about that because let's be honest, we know better than to expect much from the story because they're going to trickle in small things like this once every year, and then the story is never really going to progress. So I'm not even trying to be mean or rude or whatever. I'm just being real with you so that way you don't have your expectations through the roof. Okay? I'm trying to help you. Help me to help you. Right? Help me to help you. But let's dive into these EX styles because, of course, I'm sure you're interested in these, and that's what comes up next. That's also being introduced on the 1st of October. So as you will see here, these are your EX styles, as well as a level cap raise, of course. But as you see here, these are your EX styles. There's going to be 3 different ones, as you can see here, the Aegis, the Blitz, and the Celeste. So they also reference these as type A, B, and C. That's why they're named that. That's why they start the name with an A, a B, and a C. So it's type A, B, and C. And these are your EX styles, okay? So EX styles are pretty straightforward in how they describe them. EX styles are pretty much like going to be an extra, almost like a third class, right? So you can have different ones that they can act different ways depending on what your class is. So depending on how you play your class, right? So there's going to have different ones. So like one has, the style has skills that support counterattacks. Some skills are also enhanced by preventing attacks. You have other ones that have each different mechanics, as you can see here. So this actually creates a very great way to play. You're also going to get an after blast effect when you do your photon blast. That's what that flashy move was that you saw there before at the very start. That flashy move in this one right here, the after blast, an EX style exclusive action. So it's going to give some extra damage output, and then it's going to be some extra stuff that happens afterwards. So this adds a very interesting way to play. And now EX style is going to level up in the same way as your subclass would. So it's not going to be anything crazy or anything like that. It's going to be real easy to do because it's going to just get XP the same way that your subclass will get XP. So nothing too complicated. This will be across the board for all characters. So you don't have to do it like again and again and again and again, again and again, again and again. You have to do it again and again. So you'll be good in that regard. So you can really go in and dive in and test things out. So just by like kind of looking at the skill tree here, you can kind of tell, right? Because some of these have potency up, PP up, photon blast, reduce cooldown, things of the sort. So it's going to be a whole assortment of different types of ways that you can use these, depending on if it's A, B, or C, which EX style it is. And that's really going to go into how you should play it or how you're going to weave into it with the character that you're using, the class that you're using, and the weapons that you're using as well, your playstyle. So this is another layer of complexity, which is very good for the game. Not gonna lie, especially me being a gameplay person, gameplay, combat, all the above. This is very huge. This is a very big W and something that is definitely worth noting. And then, of course, there's a level cap raise to 110, which is pretty straightforward. Not going to go any crazy on that. Now, October 1st, you're also going to get a Kavari's Crimson Realm for 1 week. And this is important for one main reason, y'all. This is important for one main reason. That reason is that we also have a new augment being introduced here. So we have the new augment, which is going to be called Terra Trial. So this is your new trial type augment. This is a 5.5% potency augment. So that's very high. That's definitely it's a must augment pretty much right now. That's a must augment. That's one of our highest potency augments right now. We have like two 6.0s, which I think is the Radi and the Larze, right? And then everything else is like right under that. Like even Lux Alpha now is 5, and your Grand and your Land, those are both like 4.75 or something like that. So this is definitely a must augment right here. So definitely want to get these, and there will be a Crimson Realm for a week starting on the 1st. This will rotate throughout Kavaris, okay? So we'll be there for a week. And then as well as future updates is what they say, as well as future updates. So we'll see what it comes in. But either way, you have 1 week to really like go at it if you want to get it right there. Pretty much it'll probably be in the LTQs that are coming up. That's probably what that means. The augment that you need to craft it. So you'll need the Growl trial. Growl trial in order to craft the Terra trial. Keep that in mind. Get ready for that. Of course, Crimson Realm is a beast on your inventory. Assuming that they haven't addressed the gold prims in there. Hopefully they have. I know they did. I think they did prior, but sometimes we see them relap. We see them relap like we saw it here in the Altar Realm. Where you get the gold Forte burst, and you get flooded by gold prim swords instead of Endemios. We've seen it happen. They relapse a lot. They tend to forget. So hopefully they don't forget, because that was a big issue with Crimson Realm, especially when it first released. We just get overflowed and flooded with freaking gold prims, and it's the most atrocious thing for your inventory, especially if you don't have auto sell. If you don't have auto sales, GG's. But we do have a Kavaris Crimson Realm coming up for 1 week, which is very important for this augment. I did also want to note this as well, that on the 1st, a new 100 free scratches will be given to us. So on the house for the SG scratch, because we have a little 10-a-day thing that was going on right now, which you've probably already completed, but you will get 100 free scratches on another SG scratch that we have. So you'll be able to maybe get some preset, skill enhancements there or whatnot. No reason not to use those. So be sure to hop on to grab those as well. But I also want to kind of go over these various improvements as well. There's a plethora of various improvements, which is pretty good, pretty great. We have this new face. I think this face is actually pretty freaking cool. But there's a lot of new improvements that we have. QoL stuff that they have going on. That is very, 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 very nice to see. So these little QoLs that we have going on right here are things such as this, such as the quest menu freaking going by quicker when you finish a quest. Oh my sweet baby Noomsy. Bro, you have a dedicated window appears when you complete task or title task, and an assortment of other things. So we'll pull up this list right here. We'll show you here all the things that are here that are notable for. Mainly the things here that you really should be noticed on or should be focused on is number one, what I told you before about the in-augment transfer pass. Now having a freaking prompt that says, yo, hold up, bro. You're about to use an in-augment transfer pass. You sure you want to do that? Hello, don't want you to waste your in-augment transfer pass like Spikes you did. Hey, so we appreciate that they're doing that. They also have some filter options, as you can see here, for battle power will become the default filter for sorting capsules. So this makes it a bit easier when you're selecting capsules and you're trying to figure out what to add on to your units or your weapon in terms of augments. So we know, so okay, well, this augment here is obviously a higher battle power one. So this one, you have to go siphoning through your freaking inventory to find the correct augment type or whatever. You know, like they're all kind of at the top right. That way it makes it easy to navigate through them. Bro, bro. But nonetheless, we do have that. They also made it that when you're enhancing your weapon, it's not going to go over. So you're not going to waste materials if you cap it at, you know, max cap. Yeah, those aren't going to get used. So that's good as well. And then you see some adjustments here that they also added if you were interested in these as well. But just a quick rundown of those, and you see these on the screen, and you see the importance of these, and you see that these are pretty good additions for the game moving forward. So this is very nice to see. Just real short, they also added some changes to the line strike card adjustment. So there's a plethora here. If you want to check these out, you can see these on the screen right here. I'm not really going to go over this because I don't deem it as something to really just stop on and just really just like dive into. Y'all can see right here, line strike is of course a very fun game that really got underutilized and really got just kind of just like thrown in, and then boom, it was gone. But for those of y'all who are still very much invested in line strike, you know, like I say, it can be enjoyable, of course, but these are here for you to see what changes they have, what they have adjusted for the game. And of course, we have a collab, a new collab that's coming up, which is the Guilty Princess. I actually have not really much idea what this is. I'm not really in the loop on this one. However, it's a pretty nice looking collab, pretty cute characters, cute outfits. So I think that it definitely will be a collab that people will be well received on for sure. So if you're looking forward to this Guilty Princess collab, and you see this is coming up, the outfits are pretty nice. You know, of course, your standard type of rewards that you have here. The camos, I'm not really too impressed with the camos here. I can kind of scoot ahead to the camos. Camos here, I see some of the outfits right here. Kind of looking at these outfits right there. Let me show those. They're pretty cute outfits, honestly. And then these are the camo weapons, which I don't really care too much for, quite frankly. Of course, you know, I'm a gameplay person, so I do tend to look at the camo weapons. These are the camo weapons. Don't care too much for them, but showing them on here just in case some of y'all do, because I'm sure some of y'all will. This is probably the best one, and it seems to be have multiple classes, so at least 5 classes, maybe more, I'm not sure. So that's probably a nice one. This one is okay right here. Don't really like how it kind of looks, especially like when you're with daggers and you have one that's like a big shuriken and the other one's just like a small like baton or something like that. I'm not even sure what the hell that was, to be honest. So I'm not really too big on the camos here, but in case you're interested in those are there. And this is the collab that we're having, the Guilty Princess collab. And this will be coming up at the beginning of the month as well, on the 1st. So all this stuff is coming at us around the 1st. This collab, the EX style, all that's coming right up on us on the 1st. So be looking forward to that. We have a lot ahead of us, or a lot to really dive into, honestly, to keep us busy for October, honestly speaking, because we have some other stuff in the second half that you might be interested in as well. So kicking off on October 8th, we have a seasonal popping up, y'all. Okay, cool. We got a seasonal popping up. Let's go. So you already know what that means. Seasonal popping up. We're going to have a seasonal quest, seasonal points, seasonal NPC. You already know our girl's going to be there. She's going to be looking good, delicious, like a cheesecake or something. You know what I'm saying? Something to look, I don't know, dude. But nonetheless, you know, she's looking good, dressed up nicely there. Always doing what she can do. You feel me? Always doing what she can do. But we do have the season coming up, so that's something to look forward to. That's always something to kind of do because you have points to look forward to, right? So that's always a plus. Never go wrong with the season. Going directly into that, October 8th, we have a new LTUQ, which is a progressive quest to investigate the Crimson Realm, as engulfed the entirety of Varus. So this is a progression quest, and instead of Fairy guiding you as an operator, you'll have all the Kavari's quintuplets, helping you out in this one. So this is pretty neat, but also new bosses in here. That's what we really want to show this one for, because we have 2 new bosses in here, which are, well, 2 new bosses, quote unquote. It's really just AMs. But and then this guy right here, this guy's kind of new. This guy looks a bit more new, right? So this guy looks pretty interesting. But nonetheless, we have that coming up, and those 2 bosses are something to note. We have this LTQ as well, the Old Capital Extermination, which I don't really care to show y'all because we have seen this one before. It's in Kavaris. You're protecting a truck. We've done this one before, and it's very straightforward. It's a truck defense one. It's 12 players, and you are fighting mobs in Kavaris. Like, that's it. There's nothing to show for you here. And this one would not surprise me if you see some of the trial drops. Remember, because Crimson Realm was only lasting that first week. Maybe we see it in the LTQ. Maybe we see it in the LTUQ. It's going to be in one of those at least. One or the other. We're going to see that drop in there. I would imagine anyway. Don't take my word for that. I could be wrong. But I'd be surprised if it's not in something. I mean, they don't just leave it out for a whole month. For 1 week, you're able to get it and then leave it out for a whole month. I mean, they could, I guess, but who knows? Who knows? But something more exciting is these skill rings, y'all, coming October 8th. Yep, a lot of talk about these. So we have skill rings, as you see there. There's 2 slots that they have right there for these, and there's 2 different types. Okay, so you have 2 different types of skill rings here, and this is really gone over and discussed right here on this graphic. And so as you can see, 5 new varieties of new skill ring equipment. Type 1 enhances firepower, while Type 2 enhances defense and efficiency. So enhance the skill ring's effects by using the same skill ring as materials. You'll see right here off the jump, it says a drop in limited time urgent quest and limited time quest. Log in from 10.8 to 11.5 to get the skill ring Type 2, so you get a free one here. Simple Guard, which has an effect that reduces damage. So you get a free one here if you log in between October 8th and November 5th. Okay. So if you look at these and you really look at the stats on these, you'll see they are very different in how they work. You see this one over here, starting from left to right. Potency versus boss enemies plus 2%. Potency plus 1% for 20 seconds when you negate an attack with sidestep or weapon action. You have this one here, the HP keep amp. The higher your remaining HP, the higher your potency to a max of 3%. Recover 1% of HP every 20 seconds. You have a potency versus non-boss enemies. You have when you negate an attack with a sidestep or weapon action, recover 1% HP and 2% PP. 10-second cooldown. Plus 7% natural PP recovery speed for 20 seconds. You have a negative 3% damage taken when HP is at 95% or higher. It can't be launched or knocked back by enemy attacks when HP at 95% or higher. These are pretty substantial in how they can really shape the way that you play and change the way that you play. And remember, you need to get multiple of these in order to level them up. So that adds another little level, of really, going after these things, right? But this is really neat. So these are the original 5 that they're going to release at the very start. But we're getting some more as well. So as you can see here on the 22nd, we're getting introduced to 4 more of these. And so as you can see here, by the information on these, you have a PP consumption plus 20%, PA and tech potency plus 2%, potency plus 2% when PP at 45% or lower. That's stacking up. These are getting pretty wonky, and they really kind of coexist with your EX skills as well, right? They really coexist with your EX skills, so what you like to use. So some of these will layer on top of those, or depending on what class you have. It really creates a lot of different ways to play. This one here, PP recovery plus 7% when attacking with PP at 45% or lower. Recover 30% PP when PP at 20% or lower. 90-second cooldown. You have a recover 7% PP when your HP decreases. And then you have a potency plus 3% on top of that for 30 seconds. Recover HP 4% when your HP decreases. 30-second cooldown, damage taken minus 2% for 10 seconds. We're having a lot of rings pop in here, which really changes the way to play. You can have 2 of these babies equipped, y'all. 2 of these babies equipped, which is very nice. You have a Type 1, you have Type 2s, which is extremely nice and really creates for a reason to go out there and try to, really gear up on these and get multiple copies of them so you can level them. It's going to be a pretty fun experience, honestly speaking, especially considering the fact that we have been in quite the dry spell for a long time. But seeing this is very good, truthfully speaking, for the game. Seeing this, it's very good. It's actually shows some promise. Maybe their budget got increased a little bit. Who knows? Because this actually does show some promise for the game, truthfully speaking, in terms of like gameplay and stuff. Now, so that's why I had to clarify on that, because the promise in terms of the community on the global side is, you feel me? But in terms of the game itself, this is pretty nice. It's pretty nice to see. Of course, we're still kind of stuck in this similar gameplay loop of not really this or that, but who knows? Maybe this is a sign. Maybe, maybe. I'm really being optimistic here, y'all, because we all know better. Don't get your hopes up. So there's also a Monster Masquerade 25 scratch that's coming out on October 8th as well. You see this here, it has some Monster Masquerade stuff in here, but what I really want to kind of jump onto is actually over here, which is this LTQ, which is Sweets, Panic, and More. So this is pretty neat because you actually get like pick up pumpkins or something like that. So it's different. Pretty much what I'm getting at. It's different. So different is always good in a game where a lot of stuff that we get is the same. You'll see here at the very end, exchange sweets obtained. Exchange sweets obtained at the very end to get some extra rewards. So quest gifts. That's what they use. That's terminology. So that's pretty cool. Hopefully that means that you actually have to participate. It's like if you don't participate, then you don't get pumpkins. The pumpkins don't go to you, so then you can't get anything at the end. I mean, any incentive that's always there to make sure that people actually participate in the quest is always great. However, of course, we don't see that issue as much as we used to. I do still see it every now and then, but we don't see it as much as we used to. It's not as problematic, of course. So that's always a plus because you want people to participate, ruins the experience for others if you're not participating. That's pretty good. And this LTQ comes on the 22nd. So towards the end of the month, we'll have this and we'll be able to experience it. And the additional skill rings that we're going to see here as well come on the 22nd will drop in this LTQ and other sources is what they said. So it will drop in LTQs, which this is the only LTQ that will be active at the time on the 22nd. So we'll drop in this LTQ and other sources. So I don't know what other sources is. They didn't specify. But it will drop in this LTQ, the Sweets Panic for your skill rings, the second set of 4 that come on the 22nd. Remember, it starts off with 5, and then we get 4 more later on in the month. And then I also wanted to let y'all know that there is a Radi Rerun that's coming up as well on the 14th. So that's something to look forward to if you need some more Radis, especially as we kind of move on and we're actually got all these new things, EX styles and rings, and maybe you might get interested in really trying to gear up or whatnot. That is going to happen on the 14th if you still need Radis or if you're trying to get some more Radis to kind of future proof or just whatever. That is coming up. So that's information that is worthwhile of you noting. And there's also an enhancement support campaign, which is very, very important for y'all to know. And this enhancement support campaign is going to run pretty much for a month straight. Pretty much is how long this one's going to run. So it's going to run from the 1st of October to the 5th of November. So you have plenty of time to really dive into here. You're also going to get a treasure shop sale on top of that, where you can get Vault series and Progress series with preset skills on them. So that's pretty nice. So you'll be able to go in there and they usually put these at level 3. Usually right when we see this. So I imagine they'll be level 3. Whether you need them or whether you want to use them as fodder material to, enhance your stuff, either or, that's an option for you. If you don't need them, like if you don't need them specifically, like you made one, but you're still working on getting your preset skill up, then this is a great opportunity to do so by taking advantage of this. And then you get a enhancement success plus 90%, you get your 10% on your preset skill, automatic success, 75% discount for enhancing the required materials, all that stuff. You save so much material, so much freaking etc. So definitely take advantage of this for those of y'all who are looking to, be leveling stuff, so need some equipment, or working to get your preset skills to 4 or 5 or whatnot, or if you have a 1, you can just transfer over a level 3 to that. Like I said, I imagine that these are 3s. So this isn't guaranteed, but I imagine that they're preset skill 3s. They usually are. So we imagine that they probably are. But nonetheless, I did want to let y'all know that. So how are we feeling about this? How are we feeling about the EX style, the skill rings? Those are the big highlights of this month coming up, which we are definitely at least excited about because it's a real new system mechanic that doesn't really overplay or overlap like a Mars does or a Cannon does, but really just amplifies the actual default gameplay of using your character, right? And we know, of course, a lot of people wanted this. A lot of people have been asking for that. People are very mixed on Mars and cannons and stuff like that. I'm kind of indifferent on them. I think Mars are pretty neat because, I mean, they don't really take up much space. Like, you don't have to use them. You really use them for like key moments and stuff. So I don't think it's really over like impeding too much. But this is straight up just a whole new, almost like a third class, which is pretty nice, pretty good. And that's what makes this exciting. So this EX style is definitely something that we are looking forward to. How about you? I'm definitely ready to hop into this, dive into this, and really check it out. Really looking forward to these skill rings too, because I am a gameplay person. So of course I will be letting y'all know we do deem this as important. So of course I will be letting y'all know about this and keeping y'all up to date on this and seeing how we all experience it. But how do y'all feel about it? I want to know what y'all think about it. You know, if you've been on hiatus for the past 2 years, because not much has changed in the past 2 years. Ooh, halfway exaggerating, halfway not. But you know, if you've been on hiatus, if this caught your attention or catches your attention, and you're like, you know what? I might come back and check this out. I might come back and see what all this EX style and ring stuff is all about. Might come back and play for a week. Hey, look, dude, this is now probably a good time, quite frankly. So this is an interesting time to at least come back and check it out. I would say that for sure. Because this EX style and skill ring stuff looks pretty neat. Looks pretty neat. But it really just depends on, you know, how it's implemented, how easy it is to get. If like you can level up max your skill ring in 20 minutes by getting multiple copies, and that's kind of short-lived. But at the same time, the skill ring shouldn't be a teeter drop where you get one for every 1 million tries. You know, like as long as it's perfectly placed, it should add an element of fun and interest, grind to the game, enjoyable grind to the game. So, at any rate, be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think once again, and be sure to like and subscribe. See y'all in the next one. Much love. Spike content.